Hello, I'm Chuck Phillip with South Alabama Home Inspections, and welcome to another edition of Southern Home Talk. This short edition is going to be on the service drop that goes between the house and the pole. This is episode 53. You may have noticed this tank hanging on the pole outside the house, but maybe you have underground utilities. But either way, somewhere there is a transformer which is there to step the voltage down, which in this case, this top wires of around 7,200 volts down to 240 volts, which makes it much more safer for household use. Sometimes you'll see some chatter on Facebook about a transformer blowing up and they're having no power. But often what it is this fuse link right here is blown. And sometimes animals can climb up and get in this area and touch the other wire and short out the phase between the two circuits. What you're looking at in this photograph is the lower lines on the telephone pole. And generally these are your communication wires like telephone and cable. All your high voltage wires are going to be at the very top. As part of a home inspection, I do inspect the service drop between the house and the telephone pole. I don't often find this, but when I do, I write it up. This is really not good for several reasons. One, these branches could actually cause this line to fall, but also just as possible is these branches can start wearing away at the insulation on these wires and can create a short circuit that way. Occasionally you'll see whether the power company comes out or sometimes subcontracted services, they'll occasionally come through neighborhoods clearing the lines of any branches that may be threatening the service. There are many older houses in this area, and what you're looking at in this photograph is roughly 50-year-old service drop coming in, and the insulation's become brittle, and now you're seeing exposed wire as a result. This is pretty dangerous because if anything was to come in contact with this, it could create an electrocution hazard. But also you can look at the neutral. It's pretty corroded as well. And this is the bare wire that goes all the way back to the transformer. So really this entire service drop should be replaced. Anytime you notice a problem with your service drop, the best course of action to take is to contact your local utility company and let them send someone out there to at least evaluate what the potential problem is. And they may either correct it themselves or they may refer you to an electrician who needs to come out and make the repair. It all depends on the local utility company that you're under and the certain circumstances you're dealing with. What you're looking at in this photograph is a service drop that is missing the drip loop or drip leg, and that's where the wire would come down, or the wires would come down and make a loop down below and come into the weatherhead. So what's happening is basically every time it rains, as water's running the length of these wires all the way into the weatherhead, and it can drip down this service mast into the electrical panel down below. And this can create a lot of problems, both the meter and also the breaker box if there's one below it. So if you have this situation, you need to contact your local utility company and have them come out and evaluate this. Okay, in this photograph, what we're looking at is too low a service drop. And this was pretty common back in the 60s and probably the early 70s. They would just come in and just tie it off right here at the house. But the problem with that now is this really is too low. It should be a minimum of 8 feet, and you're only looking at maybe 6.5 to 7 feet to the bottom of this drip loop. And that's what this is. That's what was missing on the other slide. And so if you have this situation, you really need to correct this, because as also shown in one of the other previous slides, that this insulation can get old and it can get very brittle. And so if you're walking around the ladder and happen to bump this with the ladder or paint pole or anything else, it can create an electrocution hazard. So you probably want to call your utility company to come out first and have them evaluate it, and either they or they may refer you to an electrician to have this corrected for safety. Well, like I said earlier in the previous slides, anytime you notice any kind of issue with your service drop between the house and the telephone pole, the first people you should contact is your local utility company. It's kind of subjective, because they're kind of sort of all different, and some may do some things and others may not. But at least they can come out and give it an evaluation and either make the repair themselves or maybe even refer you to an electrician who may need to come out and make that repair. Thanks for taking the time to watch this live presentation. I'm Chuck Phillip with South Alabama Home Inspections. You can contact us at 251-490-9892 for all your inspection needs. And please subscribe to Southern Home Talk. We're constantly putting up videos, and we're primarily focusing the entire thing to just the issues we face right here in South Alabama. Thanks for watching.